What the fuck is CRISPR? Explained.
Welcome to this week's Drunken Yogi Short.
So, just so you know, CRISPR stands for something. And it stands for Clustered, Regularly Interspaced Short Palindromic Repeats. So, that's a mouthful. That's why it's called CRISPR. I don't even know what that means. But let's find out what this technology is. So, by studying bacterial immune system, they found that this Cas9 protein was able to splice in genetic material from the viruses in which it was fighting to save for a later date to be able to fend that virus off easier later. What's crazy about this Cas9 is that they can use it in us too. And we even have viral DNA in our own genetic code already. Looking at this story, it goes on to say how a virus hid in our genome for 6 million years. So it wasn't a huge surprise for his colleagues to find out that the virus is in the blood of the HIV patients. What was surprising was where the viruses had come from, within the own person's DNA. So these fragments of viruses that they were finding were actually coming from the genetic material of the person that they were sampling. Crazy enough. So, to explain this better, way better than I could ever explain it to you, for the nuts and bolts of how this Cas9 system works, let's go to Applied Biological Materials video with the link below to see how this works.
Immune defense mechanism used in bacteria for degradation of foreign genetic material, CRISPR, has two components, a guide RNA and the Cas9 endonuclease. When gRNA and Cas9 are expressed in a living cell, the gRNA Cas9 complex is recruited to the target sequence, which is directly upstream of the PAM sequence, through complementary base pairing of the gRNA to the genomic DNA. Once the complex localized to the target DNA, Cas9 cuts the desired region with extreme accuracy, resulting in a double-strand break. The double-strand break created by Cas9 is then repaired by the cell's own repair mechanism. Non-homologous and
So, this technology is light years ahead of our old stuff. Like this old antiquated gene gun that was invented in Cornell actually took a .22 caliber round, filled it up with genetic material, and ballistically shot it into its subjects to see if the genes stuck. Now, we've got laser-like tools that we call CRISPR. My biggest question is, how long is it going to be until we can use this in people? How long is it going to be? Let's check out the founder and what she has in mind for a timeline. Let's go to that clip now.
Adults within the next 10 years. I think that it's likely that we will see clinical trials and possibly even approved therapies within that time.
So she's saying 5 to 10 years. But the MIT Technology Review has a different timeline, one which I like a little bit better. They say they will be testing CRISPR on people in 2017. They go on to say in this article, speaking this week at EM Tech Conference in Cambridge, the company hopes to start clinical trials by 2017 to treat a rare form of blindness using CRISPR. So using CRISPR, we will be able to cure the blind? It's pretty crazy. What else can we do with this technology? We know that they're going to try to cure the blind. What else can we do? So we're going to go back to the founder of this technology to see what's on her mind.
That the CRISPR technology can be used for things like enhancement. Imagine that we could try to engineer humans that have enhanced properties such as stronger bones or less susceptibility to cardiovascular disease, or even to have properties that we would consider maybe to be desirable, like a different eye color or to be taller, things like that. Designer humans, if you will.
So, as she said, we don't know all the genetic things to be able to do anything to a human, but we do have a database of rare genetic specimens going back decades now, and they've been researched very heavily. Like this Bloomberg article, these superhumans are real, and their DNA could be worth billions. Drug companies are exploiting rare mutations to make one person's nearly immune to pain and another immune to broken bones. So the one guy cannot feel pain. He can put his hand on a stove and not even have a reaction. Whereas the other gentleman has such dense bones because of his genetic difference, he can get hit by a car and walk away like nothing happened. Well, he might have some bruises, but he doesn't have a shattered pelvic like what would happen if I would get hit by a car. So to change me right here is kind of hard because I've already got all my cells. But what they want to do is use CRISPR in genetically engineering the perfect baby. We're going to go to this story here where he goes in and asks her, can this be done to humans? And she says, absolutely yes. Not only can it be done to humans, but Harvard is working on how it's going to work right now. The weirdest part is that according to this article, we could see a superclass of rich people with super abilities, because to do this in vitro is going to cost over $100,000 because of the technology that goes into it. Obviously not being something that the average person is going to be able to afford to cut in cat genes into their kid or whatever. But there's other people working on this too. And this guy has set up a home CRISPRing system. So he wants people to be able to do this in the comfort of their own kitchen. Why don't you check out his video, and after this is done, go support him. I plan on buying one.
And what if the lab I had at NASA could be found on a kitchen table? Each kit comes with everything you need to perform cutting-edge science experiments, along with detailed written and video protocols.
So right now, we have systems in which you can buy and genetically engineer glow-in-the-dark E. coli in the comfort of your own home. I can't imagine what this technology is going to look like in 10 years. So what does this all mean? Will you get crispy? I know I'm on the fence right now. The biggest thing is, do crispy people have rights? Because they're not technically genetic humans. And I think they should. But the fact is, there are crispy monkeys and crispy mice holding the genomes of the human species in them right now. Should they have rights? This is getting weird. Do we believe that it's not already being done? That someone doesn't want an army of super soldiers at their disposal? That someone wouldn't want to create the new philosopher king with a genetic twist? Finding that we have ancient viral DNA already spliced into ours makes it a little bit grayer. What then is a genetic human? And where are you going to draw the line, personally?